Imagine being trapped in a small military camp with only 57 soldiers. All around you are towering mountains, and hidden among those mountains are more than 400 Taliban fighters. The enemy can see you clearly, but you don't even know from which direction the next bullet is going to come. Then, suddenly, the silence of the morning is shattered by the deafening sounds of rockets, mortars, and machine guns firing from every direction. Panic erupts inside the camp. Some soldiers wake up from sleep and immediately grab their rifles. Some continue firing despite being wounded, and some don't even know whether they will survive the next minute. This is a story based on a true event. The movie is called The Outpost. Hello friends, I am Sam, and you are watching Know the Story Global. Before starting the video, I have a small request. If you are new to this channel, then please do subscribe. In 2009, in Afghanistan's Kamdesh region, a battle took place where a small group of American soldiers refused to surrender despite overwhelming odds. The Kamdesh Valley was located near the Afghanistan-Pakistan border. The outpost built there served as a military base. Normally, military camps are established on high ground so that enemy movements can be easily monitored. But here, everything was the opposite. The American outpost was situated at the bottom of the valley, while Taliban fighters occupied the higher positions on the surrounding mountains. This gave the enemy a perfect tactical advantage. Even so, the American army had to maintain its presence there because terrorists frequently used this route to move between Afghanistan and Pakistan. The officer in charge of this dangerous outpost was Captain Keating. A group of new soldiers arrives for duty. However, before they can even settle in, heavy gunfire suddenly erupts from the mountains early one morning. Bullets begin raining down on the camp from all directions. The new soldiers quickly realize that this is no ordinary military posting. Without wasting a second, everyone rushes to their combat positions. Some soldiers jump out of bed and begin firing while still half-dressed. The battle continues for quite some time. Eventually, with the help of mortar fire, the American soldiers manage to force the attackers to retreat. During this sequence, we are introduced to a soldier named Carter who will become an important part of the story later. After the attack ends, the soldiers assess the damage and discover that one of their comrades has been shot. He is immediately taken to the medical unit. But the truth is that at this outpost, injuries and deaths had become a routine part of life after every attack. A short while later, Captain Keating gathers all the soldiers for an emergency briefing. He explains that wars cannot be won with guns and bombs alone. If they can earn the trust and support of the local villagers, Taliban attacks might be reduced. As part of this plan, Captain Keating takes several soldiers and travels to Kamdesh village. There, he meets with local tribal leaders. He promises that the Americans will help build schools and roads for the community. They will also provide financial assistance. In return, they ask the villagers to convince any Taliban fighters hiding in the area to surrender their weapons. The villagers agree to the deal. Some Taliban fighters even hand over their weapons. That night, for the first time in a long while, there's a sense of optimism inside the outpost. Many soldiers begin to believe that peace might finally be possible. But the very next morning, Taliban fighters launch another attack from the mountains. The sound of gunfire once again echoes throughout the valley. The soldiers realize that this war is far from over. Meanwhile, Carter becomes increasingly troubled by certain decisions being made. Instead of supporting him, Andrew tries to explain that Captain Broward has spent 37 years fighting wars and that questioning his experience is not appropriate. Carter's attitude is not appreciated by the senior officers. As punishment, he is assigned night patrol duty on top of a Humvee during freezing temperatures and heavy rain. Late that night, surrounded by darkness and silence, Carter spots a Taliban fighter in the distance through his night vision equipment. But before he can react, a mortar shell is fired directly toward the outpost. Until now, the Taliban had mostly relied on AK-47 rifles, but the situation had changed dramatically. They now possessed mortars, RPG launchers, and even night vision equipment. Most dangerously of all, they had started launching attacks under the cover of darkness. It was becoming clear that the Taliban had grown far more organized, better equipped, and better trained. The next morning, village leaders arrive at the outpost carrying the body of a young girl. They accuse the Americans of causing her death during a mortar attack. However, the soldiers quickly realize that the body is at least 2 days old. In reality, the villagers are simply trying to pressure the Americans because they want financial compensation as soon as possible. To keep the situation under control, Captain Keating lies and assures them that the promised money will arrive when the time is right. Soon after, another major update arrives. Captain Broward is transferred away, and command of the outpost is handed over to First Lieutenant Andrew. The soldiers are also informed that the outpost will no longer close in July. Instead, it will remain operational until October. Hearing this news causes morale to sink even further. Andrew issues a strict warning. No one is allowed to mention the outpost's closing date in emails, phone calls, or Skype conversations because the Taliban might be monitoring communications. That night, the atmosphere inside the outpost feels different. Some soldiers speak with their wives, others call their families, and some simply want their girlfriends to feel reassured that they are still safe. But none of them realize that for some soldiers, these conversations will be the last ones they ever have. The next morning seems completely normal. Some soldiers are finishing their night shifts and heading toward the rest area, while fresh guards take over their positions. Suddenly, the translator, Muhammad, comes running into the camp in a panic. Fear is clearly visible on his face. He shouts at the top of his lungs, "The Taliban are coming! Hundreds of fighters are moving down from the mountains!" The soldiers ignore him. After all, Muhammad has given false alarms before. But this time, the situation is different. Moments later, soldiers use binoculars and spot movement on the mountainsides. Large groups of Taliban fighters are advancing toward the outpost, and in a single instant, the entire valley transforms into a battlefield. Bullets begin flying from every direction. Mortar shells crash into the camp. It feels as if fire is raining from the sky. The soldiers who were sleeping wake up and immediately rush to their combat positions. But the attack is so intense that simply stepping outside a bunker feels like suicide. Meanwhile, Thomas, positioned on top of a Humvee, continues returning fire. Suddenly, a bullet strikes his helmet directly. Without the helmet, he would have died instantly. Nearby, another soldier tries to take control of a machine gun position, but the moment he exposes himself, he is shot and collapses to the ground. Amid the chaos, Andrew rushes into the control room and asks, "Which direction is the enemy attacking from?" The response comes immediately, "Sir, from everywhere." Hearing this, an emergency request for air support is sent out, but the weather is terrible. The reply comes back that helicopters and fighter jets will need at least 2 hours to reach the area. The real problem is that the soldiers aren't even sure they can survive the next 30 minutes. On one side stand more than 400 Taliban fighters. On the other, only 57 American soldiers. The Taliban continue bombarding the outpost with rockets and RPGs, trying to wipe it off the map. The worst part is that the Americans can barely see their targets. Enemy fighters are spread across the mountains, hidden among rocks and elevated positions, making them incredibly difficult to engage. That's why the soldiers begin firing based on estimates rather than clear targets. But slowly, the Taliban fighters start moving closer and closer. The ammunition for the Humvee-mounted machine gun is running out. At this dangerous moment, Carter ignores his own safety and rushes out of the bunker to bring more ammunition. On the other side, Romesha is managing the entire battle. He keeps motivating the soldiers while continuing to fire at the enemy. Suddenly, Sergeant Kirk is badly wounded. Looking at his condition, everyone realizes that if he isn't taken to the medical station immediately, he probably won't survive. Alvarez sprints toward him through a storm of bullets. Somehow, he manages to drag Kirk back to the medical center. Meanwhile, ammunition is running dangerously low. A sergeant sends several soldiers to distribute bullets across different positions. But on the way, a soldier named Skusa becomes the target of an enemy sniper. A bullet strikes him directly in the head, and he collapses instantly. The remaining soldiers throw smoke grenades to block the Taliban's view and then pull his body back into the outpost. Sadly, the doctors at the medical station declare him dead. Kirk's condition has also become critical. At the same time, Carter continues running across the battlefield without stopping. He keeps delivering supplies to soldiers under heavy fire. Watching his bravery, it seems as if he has completely forgotten the fear of death. Then, a Taliban RPG strikes the Americans' machine gun position. A massive explosion follows, destroying the Americans' last operational machine gun.
The soldiers trapped inside the vehicle are now terrified to come out. Stepping outside would mean almost certain death. Another update arrives from the control room. Air support is still 40 minutes away. But the expression on Andrew's face makes it clear that they may not have that much time left. Meanwhile, Carter arrives with .50 caliber ammunition. However, when he reaches the position, he discovers that the main machine gun has already been destroyed. Even then, he refuses to give up. He begins distributing rifle magazines so that the soldiers can somehow continue fighting. Elsewhere, Ramesha sets up a new machine gun position and unleashes heavy fire on the Taliban fighters. But only seconds later, an RPG crashes into that position. The explosion severely injures Ramesha's hand. Even so, he refuses to retreat. When he finally reaches the medical station, he learns that Sergeant Kirk has died. The news hits Ramesha hard. For a moment, he's devastated. The pain is clearly visible on his face, but showing emotions in the middle of a battle could cost a soldier his life. Then he spots a Taliban sniper positioned high on a distant mountain, continuously targeting American soldiers. Ramesha immediately picks up his sniper rifle. Carefully tracking the enemy's movements, he takes aim and squeezes the trigger. A second later, the Taliban sniper falls from his position. Meanwhile, several soldiers attempt to start a Humvee and reach the trapped team. The plan is simple. Drive to the vehicle, rescue the soldiers, and bring them back to the bunker. But the Humvee becomes stuck along the way. One soldier tries to get out of the vehicle. The moment he leaves cover, enemy bullets tear through him. Now, the Taliban fighters are beginning to enter the outpost itself. Until now, they had been attacking from distant mountain positions, but now the battle has become dangerously close. Seeing the situation, Andrew shouts, "Alamo! Alamo!" It is the signal for all soldiers to fall back to defensive bunker positions. But Ramesha flatly refuses to obey the order. "I'm not retreating," he insists. Ramesha knows that several American soldiers are still trapped inside the vehicle. If they are not rescued immediately, the Taliban will not leave them alive. Then another explosion rocks the battlefield. A Taliban RPG strikes the control room directly. The blast destroys much of the communication system. The outpost is now on the verge of losing all contact with the outside world. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Andrew finally agrees to support Ramesha's rescue plan. At the same time, Carter and his team decide to leave the trapped vehicle on their own. But the moment they step out of cover, the Taliban unleash relentless fire upon them. The bullets are coming so fast that the soldiers can barely aim. Suddenly, an RPG lands nearby. The explosion badly wounds Gallegos and Mace before they can reach the bunker. Forced back by the intense fire, Carter and the sergeant retreat into the vehicle for cover. Then, they notice Mace. He is crawling through the dirt, screaming in pain, desperately trying to reach the vehicle. Seeing this, Carter shouts, "Get behind the big rock! We're coming for you!" Carter immediately wants to run to him,
but the sergeant stops him. "If you go out there now, you'll get shot too." Carter refuses to listen. Mace is badly wounded. If we don't help him now, he'll die. After a heated discussion, the sergeant finally agrees. "I'll provide covering fire. You bring him back." Carter takes a deep breath. Then, without any regard for his own safety, he charges into the open. When he reaches Mace, the sight nearly breaks his heart. The lower half of Mace's body has been devastated. There is blood everywhere. His eyes are half closed, but he is still alive. Meanwhile, the sergeant continues firing at the enemy, providing cover. Carter lifts Mace onto his shoulder and drags him back toward the vehicle. On the front line, Ramesha and the other soldiers continue fighting desperately against the Taliban. The Americans keep eliminating enemy fighters while trying to hold their positions. But when Ramesha looks through his scope toward the mountains, his heart sinks. There are still large numbers of Taliban fighters advancing downhill. At that moment, he realizes that survival may be impossible.
Then suddenly, the sky roars. Missiles begin raining down on Taliban positions. Massive explosions erupt across the battlefield. Taliban fighters are blown into the air. Ramesha instantly understands. Air support has finally arrived. 2 helicopters sweep across the sky, firing machine guns and launching missiles at Taliban positions. The entire valley shakes from the explosions. Meanwhile, Carter is determined to get Mace to the medical center no matter what. The U.S. Air Force is now attacking Taliban positions with full force. After hours of brutal fighting, Ramesha and his team finally manage to bring Mace to the medical station. But Mace's condition is extremely serious. After examining him, the doctors announce that he urgently needs O-positive blood to survive. The problem is that rescue helicopters will still take another 5 to 6 hours to arrive. So the soldiers volunteer immediately. One after another, they donate their own blood to keep Mace alive. After nearly 12 hours of continuous combat, American forces finally regain control of the outpost at around 6 p.m. Most of the Taliban fighters have either been killed or forced to flee. A new commander eventually arrives at the outpost, and the remaining Taliban fighters are tracked down and eliminated. But the true horror becomes visible after nightfall. The soldiers look around and see nothing but devastation. Burned vehicles, destroyed bunkers, ground soaked with blood, and bodies lying everywhere. The sight leaves even the commanders in shock. According to reports, out of the 57 American soldiers defending the outpost, 7 were killed in action, and 27 were seriously wounded. To make matters worse, medical supplies were nearly exhausted. The battle had been won, but the cost was heartbreaking. As Andrew explains everything, tears begin to fill his eyes. With a broken voice, he says, "Sir, I couldn't save my men." The captain comforts him and replies, "Considering how little experience you had, the fact that you managed to keep so many soldiers alive is nothing short of a miracle." Later that night, helicopters finally land at the outpost. Mace and the other wounded soldiers are immediately airlifted out of the area. The soldiers who are still able to fight simply wait for morning to arrive. The next day, more helicopters reach the outpost. Finally, the surviving soldiers leave that terrifying place forever. But before they depart, the American military makes one final decision. A fighter jet is ordered to completely destroy the entire outpost. The reason is simple. A large amount of weapons, equipment, and sensitive military data still remain inside the camp. If those materials were to fall into Taliban hands, the situation could become even more dangerous. While traveling away from the area, the soldiers receive another heartbreaking piece of news. The doctors were unable to save Mace. The moment Carter hears this, he is devastated. The loss breaks him from the inside. Later, both Ramesha and Carter are awarded the United States military's highest honor, the Medal of Honor. And with that, this incredible story comes to an end. This story teaches us an important lesson. True courage does not mean being free from fear. True courage means standing firm despite being afraid. Sometimes life places us in situations where the chances of success seem almost zero. Situations where darkness surrounds us from every direction. Situations where every second makes us want to give up. But the people who make history are the ones who refuse to stop fighting, even in those moments. So friends,
If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Know the Story Global, for more movie explanations like this. Every subscription motivates me to bring you more amazing stories. We'll meet again in the next video with another touching and unforgettable story. Until then, take care of yourselves. Thank you.